Are you just wasting a whole bunch of your media budget in reactivating and reselling to your current customer base? Today, I'm joined with Brent Neale, one of our senior Google Ads specialists, and we're going to be talking about how to structure your Google Ads account to ensure that you are attracting your current customers and reselling to them, but also making sure that you've got a larger portion of your budget allocated to reaching new and acquiring new customers. Brent, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So we work with a lot of clients and they typically want to get new customers. And what we have found in the past is that a lot of the times their accounts haven't been set up in a way that's really optimal for getting new customers. And they're spending a whole bunch of money just hitting the same old customers again and again and leading to a lot of wastage. So maybe if you can just run through a few strategies that you've been implementing and you found that really are best practice and get results for getting more customers into your ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely. So when we're looking at Google Ads campaigns, in all fairness, it's never been easier to be able to target just new customers. You know, take it back to the days of billboards or something like that. You have no idea how many people are 100% brand new and then how many people are driving by that have already purchased your product before. With digital marketing, especially with Google Ads, we have emails and unique identifiers to know if this person is 100% a new customer or if they are an existing customer that's now searching again. So it's never been easier to be able to spend or allocate budget towards new customers. So for example, if someone's specifically searching for your brand name, there's a pretty good chance that they've already purchased from you before, or they've already made a decision to purchase from you and they've been sold from a different campaign, you know, either earlier in the funnel from a different platform or word of mouth or whatever it might be. So I think probably the first one is excluding all brand from everything, or at least allocating it its own small budget off to the side to make sure that you're not including brand in, say, performance max campaigns where it would just overinflate on a lot of results, and ensuring that you have a bit more control as to how much do you want to spend on your brand terms and when do you need to.
It also makes it easier for you to be able to analyze your data, because if you've got your brand terms coming into your top of funnel product type terms in your search campaign, you're going to be looking at a campaign going, this is fucking killing it.
Yeah.
But then the reality is if you pulled out all of those brand searches, potentially it's really not generating a good result at all and you're just wasting a whole bunch of budget.
Yeah.
So I think that that's probably, as you said, the first thing you need to do is really segment out all your brand, make sure you've got complete control and oversight into what's being spent on brand.
Yep.
So that way you can focus your budget there and go, yep, I know I'm going to get $100 on that campaign. It's not going to make me feel good about my other ones, but it's definitely going to make it more realistic in terms of, yep, I probably would have captured a lot of that campaign anyway, potentially with organic search, but it's not muddying the data in the other campaigns.
Yeah, exactly. And I think probably the biggest thing is dynamic customer lists. You know, if you're using some sort of email marketing platform, like 99% of e-commerce brands, you're going to have a list of all of your current customers already there, ready to be imported into Google Ads or Facebook or whatever your marketing platform is. So specifically with Google Ads is you can then add that as an observed audience to, say, a brand campaign. So now I can see how many people are clicking on my ad and then how many of those are already customers to be able to get a bit more of an accurate identifier. Is one, worthwhile running brand campaigns? Because if 99% of the people that are searching for my brand campaign are already in that list, then they're just current customers. I can probably cut it off. I don't really need to have that unless there's a lot of aggressive competitor bidding. But on top of that, it helps you exclude or target specifically to those email lists. So for example, if you're running a Performance Max campaign, you have customer acquisition settings where you can tell Google to either bid equally to everyone, bit more for new customers, but it will still bring on existing customers if it's going to be a cheap, cost per acquisition, or only bid for new customers. So you've got those three different settings to be able to essentially tailor how much of your budget should go to new customers as opposed to return customers as well.
That's really powerful, because I think that what we do find as well is, as we've talked about before, is that PMax will go for the cheapest conversions available.
Yeah.
And your previous customers are going to be the hottest, most easy to convert, cheapest conversions that it can achieve. And so that is going to be where the budget's going to be spent if it can.
Yep.
So by being able to adjust these settings and making sure that you are filtering them out from that and only attracting, and I mean, there may be reasons for having that setting on to retarget your current customers, but for a way to be able to make sure you're only attracting and measuring your new customer acquisition, you want to make sure that you're not spending any budget within that space there.
Yeah, definitely. I think probably the final thing, this is something that I learned after being in marketing for so many years now, I kind of learned about 6 months ago, is remarketing versus retargeting. They're two very different things, but they're used as interchangeable terms. Remarketing is marketing to people that have already purchased from you, and retargeting is only targeting people that haven't purchased from you before, but have either been to your website or they've engaged with you previously. So
okay, I've never actually heard that before, because I interchange it all the time. I'm just like, sometimes Google will auto correct me even in the spelling of it sometimes.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
So whatever it put in there, I'll just call it that.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting take on it. So we're talking about reactivating previous customers versus retargeting and trying to convert non-customers is the way that you're approaching those two different options there.
Yeah. So it's probably the biggest thing here is having an allocated budget for retargeting, having an allocated budget for remarketing. If you're just remarketing or retargeting anyone that's gone to your website, whether they purchased or haven't purchased before, really you're putting both of them together. But realistically, what you really want to be doing is having about 75% going towards retargeting. So these are the people that haven't purchased before, to make sure that, they're going to need more touch points to be able to convert. They need a bit more nurturing as opposed to someone that's already purchased from you before. And then the other 25% would be for people that have purchased from you before, but just make sure you don't, you save your audiences correctly. So then you're not just remarketing as soon as they've purchased from your store. Maybe give it like a 1 month delay so that they can start, rethinking about your brand, even though they've already got the product, they've tested it, whatever industry you're in, they understand a bit more about the brand and the product.
Okay, so it sounds like that Google has really now allowed us to segment that out, because previously I remember you couldn't even put a brand negative onto your PMAX. You didn't have the settings of being able to choose how much budget was going to your customers. So I think that Google as a platform is now adapting to be able to acquire new customers.
Yeah.
So if you are currently running Google Ads, it's definitely worth checking out your account settings. Make sure that these have been implemented or changing them to be able to, and then that's going to give you a real measure of to how much budget you're spending to acquire new customers versus what you're spending to just remarket and reconvert your current customer base.
Awesome.
Brent, thanks for joining today. We'll be back again soon.
Thank you very much for inviting me to the show.
Thanks.